What if every door that closed in front of you wasn't an end, but a careful redirection by the universe? What if every misstep, every apparent delay, every moment of deafening silence you mistook for abandonment was actually a piece moving in an intricate and divine choreography? So often we search for answers amidst the noise. We wait for grandiose signs, for thunder to announce a change. But the universe rarely shouts. It whispers. It communicates in the stillness through symbols, in the soft click of a door unlocking within your spirit. If you've been feeling a restlessness lately, a sense that your old clothes no longer fit, that the truths that once gave you security have begun to crack, pay attention. This discomfort is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that you are being called off the known map. You are being positioned for a revelation. This video is for you. For you who feel this stirring in your soul, this subtle pull towards something you can't yet name. Today, we will decode this silent language. We will explore the 5 unmistakable signs that the universe is, right now, opening doors to a destiny you never dared to imagine. And the first sign, almost always, begins with a beautiful mess. The first sign that the universe is orchestrating your next great chapter doesn't arrive with a fanfare. It arrives as a disruption. Life as you know it begins to dissolve at the edges. A structure that seemed permanent suddenly reveals its fragility. The ground beneath your feet feels like it's loosening. And in this moment of unrooting, the first reaction is fear. It's to try to cling tighter to what is slipping through your fingers. But this dissolution is not chaos. It is an invitation. It is the universe plowing the field of your life, preparing the soil for a new seed. And it is in this sacred space between what was and what is to be that something magical happens. Opportunities begin to sprout from the most unlikely of places. You'll notice it subtly. A casual encounter with a stranger in a coffee shop, and their words seem to be the exact message your soul needed to hear. A project you poured all your energy into collapses, and the next day, a door opens in a completely different direction, one that had been locked for years. You find yourself daydreaming about a vision for your life that, until now, seemed like an unreachable delusion. Make no mistake, these are not accidents. They are not coincidences. They are sacred alignments. They are points of light connecting to form a new constellation in your personal sky. The universe weaves these connections with astonishing precision, using time as its needle and events as its thread. The doors that open in these moments rarely look like doors. They might have the appearance of a painful interruption. The end of a job might not seem like an opportunity, but perhaps it's the only way the universe could free you from a path that was limiting your soul. The end of a relationship might feel like a devastating loss, but perhaps it is the space being created for you to finally meet yourself. The failure of a plan might seem like the end of the road, but perhaps it's the only way for the true opportunity to find you, free from your rigid expectations. The unknown is uncomfortable because it comes with no guarantees. It doesn't fit into your meticulous plans, and that is precisely why it is so powerful. It is in the unmapped territory that the universe does its most sublime work, far beyond the blueprint your logical mind had designed for your life. The temptation to retreat will be immense. The urge to go back to the safety of the known, even if that safety is a comfortable prison, will be strong. But the new doors the universe opens were not made for your old version. They require you to stretch, to grow, to take a deep breath and trust what your eyes cannot yet see. When one of these doors whispers your name, you will feel a mix of fear and resonance. A calm pull in your chest, a silent yes that echoes in your cells. Say yes back. Not because you are certain, but because your curiosity is greater than your fear. It is in that moment that the door becomes a path, and you realize you didn't find the opportunity. It found you. After you take that first, albeit hesitant, step through that unexpected door, something even more surprising begins to happen. The second sign manifests. Resistance weakens. The walls you've been banging your head against for years, the obstacles that seemed insurmountable, begin to dissolve. Not with a bang, not with a fight, but with a kind of strange grace, almost effortlessly. You realize you are no longer pushing a boulder up a mountain. The rock seems to have become lighter, or perhaps the mountain has flattened. Don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean the path becomes free of challenges. Challenges are part of growth, but the nature of the struggle changes. Frantic effort is replaced by aligned action. You stop fighting against life and begin to dance with it. Conversations that used to end in dead ends now flow with clarity and understanding. The resources you needed, which seemed so far away, begin to appear, often without you even having to look for them. That person with the right skill, that book with the exact answer, that money that arrives just in time. And perhaps most powerfully of all, the internal blocks begin to lose their power. That voice of doubt that screamed in your mind is now a mere whisper. The fear of criticism, the guilt of the past, the paralyzing hesitation. They don't disappear completely, but their hold on you drastically diminishes. They lose control of your life's rudder. This doesn't happen because you've become perfect or invincible. It happens because alignment has replaced resistance. The flow has begun. Imagine trying to row a boat against a strong current. Every stroke requires immense force, and progress is minimal. You get tired, frustrated, exhausted. That is living in resistance. Now imagine you turn the boat around. You stop fighting and allow the current to carry you. You still need to use the oars to steer, to avoid a rock here and there. But the main force moving you is not your own. It is the force of the river. That is living in alignment. That is why the pressure eases. That is why the path becomes clearer. Not because it is easy, but because it is right. It is your river. What was stuck now becomes unstuck because your soul is finally aligned with the place it was always meant to go. When the doors you never imagined open, the world begins to cooperate. Not all at once, not blindly, but in unmistakable ways. The traffic clears right when you need it to. The meeting gets scheduled at the perfect moment. The wall that held you back for a decade crumbles with a single epiphany. What was a source of struggle becomes a stepping stone. This is not luck, it is the second sign. A clear sign that you not only found the door, but had the courage to walk through it. And the universe responds to that courage by removing the thorns from the path so that you can keep walking. As the obstacles begin to yield and life takes on a rhythm you did not create, something deeper begins to unfold. You enter the territory of the third sign, the deepening of faith. You begin to realize that the force guiding you is not just chance, effort, or luck. It is something sacred. The door that opened was not unlocked by logic. The path ahead is not illuminated by certainty. It is illuminated by faith. And not the kind of faith that demands guarantees to believe, but the kind of faith that blossoms in their absence. The kind of faith that learns to take the next step in the dark, trusting that the ground will appear beneath your feet. This is where your internal transformation accelerates. At first, uncertainty still lingers. You look around at this new landscape of your life and wonder, should I really be here? Is this real? Everything is new, untested, vibrant. The temptation to run back to predictability, to seek the approval of others, to ask for a detailed map before committing, still exists. But something inside you, a quiet and resolute force, refuses to go back. That subtle push, that pull in your chest you felt at the beginning, now becomes stronger, clearer. You may not have the full picture, but the universe has given you enough light for the next step, and somehow that becomes enough. It is at this point that the word faith transcends concept and becomes your posture, your daily compass. You begin to move not because you see the outcome, but because you trust the source. The unknown ceases to be a monster to be feared and becomes a sacred space that invites you to humility. It creates space for presence, for surrender, for listening. The need to figure it all out, to control every variable, dissolves. You realize your only task is to keep saying yes. Yes to this moment, yes to this process, yes to the mystery of where you are being led. And as you walk, something extraordinary happens. Fear doesn't disappear, but it loses its power over you. It moves from the driver's seat to the back seat. It might even shout from time to time, but it is no longer steering. Your fundamental question about life changes. You are no longer asking, "What if this doesn't work out?" You are asking, with genuine and excited curiosity, "Who will I become if this does work out? Who was I always meant to be that I am about to discover?" This subtle but seismic shift is how you know you are walking through a door opened by the universe, because true faith can only grow in spaces where vision is limited, and when the universe invites you into the unknown, it also equips you with the strength to continue. The door you never imagined will often lead you to a territory you cannot fully explain with words. But it was meant to be exactly that way, not so you can control the outcome, but so you can deepen your trust. So you can learn on a cellular level that the same intelligent and loving force that opened the door is walking with you through it. When this becomes real, your faith ceases to be a concept and becomes a living bridge, connecting where you are to where the universe is taking you. And the more you walk, the stronger that bridge becomes. As your faith deepens and you continue your journey through the unknown, a silent transformation begins to take shape. It doesn't happen around you, but within you. This is the fourth and perhaps the most transformative of the signs, a profound shift in perspective. Suddenly, you begin to see life through different lenses. What once seemed like random chaos now reveals a stunning precision. What once seemed like an irreparable loss begins to resemble a necessary liberation. What you once judged as a mistake, you now see as an essential lesson. This change doesn't arrive with an announcement. It settles in gradually, like the dawn that slowly breaks through the darkness of night. And then, one day, you wake up and realize, the world hasn't changed. You have. The things you once pursued so relentlessly, success at any cost, external validation, the need to be in control, begin to lose their weight. They don't disappear, but they seem secondary, almost trivial. You begin to value peace over performance, authenticity over approval. Your energy, which once scattered in 1,000 directions, seeking to please everyone and meet every expectation, begins to gather, to refine, to turn toward what truly matters. You start to notice the patterns that were always there but were hidden by the noise of your own mind. The right conversation at the right time, the book that falls from the shelf, the sign on the street with the word you needed, the repeating number. You are no longer just seeing things differently, you are seeing with clarity, for the first time. This clarity doesn't make life predictable. On the contrary, it can become even more mysterious and magical. But instead of resisting the mystery, you begin to delight in it, because now you understand. You understand that the doors the universe opened were not just portals to new external opportunities. They were mirrors, mirrors that showed you who you really are, at your core, beneath all the layers of fear and conditioning. And once you see yourself through the eyes of expansion, of possibility, of your own soul. It is impossible to shrink back to fit into your old reality. The shift in perspective is not temporary. It is a permanent recalibration of what you believe is possible for yourself and your life. This is how the universe prepares you. It doesn't throw you into a new reality without first giving you the tools to inhabit it. This new perspective is the foundation upon which a new life is built. Without it, even the greatest of opportunities would crumble. With every step, you are not just entering a larger world. You are becoming someone who belongs in that world. That is the true sign. Not just that a door has opened, but that you have become the version of yourself who can walk through it fully awake, fully ready, and fully alive. Once your perspective shifts and the noise of struggle and effort quiets down, in that newfound stillness, something unexpected begins to emerge. Not in a shout, not in a flash of euphoria, but like a slow warmth that builds in the center of your chest. The fifth and final sign, a serene joy. This is not the happiness that depends on a good day, an achievement, a compliment. It is not the excitement that rises and falls with the tides of circumstances. It is a different kind of joy. A joy that emerges from a place deeper than external conditions. It is the joy of knowing on a fundamental level that you are exactly where you need to be. You begin to feel light even in spaces of uncertainty. The road ahead may be shrouded in mist, but you no longer need clarity to feel peace. You find yourself waking up with a sense of calm that has no name, smiling without needing a reason, feeling gratitude for simple things that once went unnoticed. This joy is not performative. It doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. It doesn't need to post about itself. It is simply there, like a constant and faithful presence walking beside you. And this is how you know that a door has truly opened, not just in your life, but in your soul. This joy is the evidence, the proof that you have crossed an invisible threshold. You are no longer on the outside waiting to be chosen, saved, or validated. You have remembered what was always true, that you are already part of something greater, that your essence is already aligned with divinity. This joy, as subtle as it may seem, is a powerful sign. It means you have finally let go of the version of yourself that needed constant reassurance. It means your soul is at rest, not because the journey is over, but because it finally trusts the direction. It trusts the driver. It trusts the river. This is what happens when the universe opens doors you never imagined. You don't just receive a new opportunity, you receive a new state of being. And joy is the ripe fruit of that transformation. A quiet, unshakable joy that doesn't depend on what happens, but is anchored in what is. It abides. It sustains you. It reminds you again and again that you are no longer chasing miracles. You are walking inside one. When you look back, you realize that these signs, the unexpected opportunities, the dissolution of obstacles, the deepening of faith, the shift in perspective, and the awakening of a serene joy were not separate events. They were a sequence, a rhythm, a language the universe used to tell you, it's time. Time to release the old map. Time to honor the pull of your soul towards something more. Time to trust the journey, even without seeing the final destination. If these 5 signs are converging in your life, know this with all the certainty of your heart. You are not lost, nor are you late. You are precisely on time for a destiny greater than the one your limited mind once envisioned. But there is one last truth, the most important of all. The universe can open the door, but it is you who must choose to walk through it. The doors do not demand, they invite. They do not ask for perfection, they ask for presence. They do not ask for certainty, they ask for courage. And although the path beyond them may not always be easy, It will be aligned. Every step will teach you more about who you really are and what you are capable of. Because the doors you never imagined are not just access points to new chapters of your life. They are thresholds to your own blossoming. So, if life has begun to speak to you in whispers, if the old rhythms no longer fit, if something deep inside you knows that a change is near, listen. You are not imagining things. The signs are real. The door is open. And what awaits you on the other side is not just possibility. It is purpose. A purpose woven into the very fiber of your soul, long before you ever knew you should look for it. Trust. Take the step and watch as everything, absolutely everything, begins to unfold.